AI, that might come out in emerging issues in research, and then finally we might just talk about the composition and function of an ethics committee. So it's not in that order, and it's not in those times, so don't look at the times very much. That was just my personal one, because I'm also thinking about how long I should be doing anything, but don't worry about it. So, yeah, you can put it down now, because they'll be looking at it. I can't see it here, so I don't know how to put it on. Yesterday, what's about yesterday? Yes, Bramwell.
I think for me the most striking thing, well, it's not a very distinct like a topic that we looked at, but the most striking thing is how it's easy for what's on paper that has been approved to be different from what happens on the ground as with informed consent and others. So yeah, I think that was the most.
That jumped out at you, yes. Yes. That's why I say have a bit of mercy on your PIs. Sometimes they're doing the best they can, but it's just not doing it. It's just not doing. Of course, they must make efforts to follow by their protocol. Anybody else? Yes?
So,
His name is Quickly.
yes. So what I learned yesterday that rings back in my mind was the definition of the principle of autonomy. That is the out of
The wrong was self-rule.
the self-rule.
Yeah. It was a cartoon. I used to say you're not the boss of me. It was not a cartoon. It was somebody who used to say that. I watch a lot of television in right? Yeah, you're not, I'm the boss of me, you're not the boss of me. So autonomy means I'm the boss of me, you know? Yeah, but again, you saw how it's really modified in life, in actual life. Yes, Anne, I can see you smiling. Sorry, why are you smiling at yourself?
I'm smiling at you.
Okay.
I think yesterday, what one of the key things was how much to always ask ourselves, is the research for the people or is it for some other people? Is it us or them?
Yeah. Very important. So I don't know whether your ERC will be known, your Iserc. You know, they've changed so many times. So if I hear me saying ERC, that's what we call it for a very long time. But now, of course, it says you should call it an Iserc. Maybe that's what your Iserc will be known for. And the funny thing is, once you start asking for things, they start coming. When you start saying, what's the social value of this study? How are we going to benefit? How is the knowledge in our region going to benefit? You know, because it's good to add to knowledge, but that knowledge needs to be able to help the people in your region. So when you start asking those questions, you suddenly see proposals as they come, having people trying to answer that question. So you have a lot of influence on the way people think about certain things, just by the questions you ask. Excellent, yes. Yes, Kenwa.
Mine is a bit personal. I learned yesterday that teachers make the day so interesting that people could sit 4 hours without getting bored. And these people who are seated, I think, are involving almost all the ages. Remember being a teacher. Yes. The other day is 10 years. And I have that experience. If a lesson goes beyond the 40 minutes, that was the time. I don't know how far it is going these days. The runners will get fidgety, they will start throwing things at one another.
But people are not throwing.
So, congratulations, our teachers.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. I don't want you to get offended, but teaching adults is like teaching kindergarten. I kid thee not. Don't make it interesting. You guys have got so much in your minds, that you just shoop. You now go to that thing that is bothering you. You might even start wondering whether you put off the iron in your house before you left it on. You know? Yeah, so you must shake it up. Thank you so much. It's practice. And the first time yes, people must have wondered what was going on, but with time, it has become better. And also it depends on the class. Yeah, so this class has been very interactive, so it's keeping us on our toes. The kind of questions you ask, you're like, oops. Yeah, I need to think about that one. Yeah, thank you so much. Was it Lillian? So today she's decided she will be almost the first one to speak. Great.
Okay, mine was on informed consent. Yesterday I learned something new, like for the vulnerable community, where you got the part of involving the lawyers. For me, I thought it was not important, but from whatever you thought, I saw that it is important. Yeah, at least I learned something new.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Anybody else? We still have time.
By the way, I didn't say why I considered it to be personal.
Oh, yes.
It was my request right from the beginning.
Yes.
That, well, I don't know why I said it, but I expected it. So my request was met. That's why I'm saying it is personal, because I raised the point. How will you teach? How are you going to teach?
Yeah, you did. You did. I noted it. And I said, okay, this is teaching practice. The assessor has come. I seem to be doing well. And Prof. Nanu as well. Yeah. Yeah, we have time. So if you don't put up your hand, I'll just look at you like the vice chair. I'll look at you and say, Manuel. And how come they sat together, chair and vice chair? Okay, let me ask the chair to talk while you're thinking. I think I ambushed you.
I think for me, the new thing yesterday was the communal autonomy. And I think it's a very complicated issue.
Very.
And I think it's something that we need to be very cognizant of and ask more about it.
Yeah.
Because, sometimes you might not have a solution to something, but being aware of its existence actually is part of the beginning of the solution.
Yeah.
And I don't think I have really paid a lot of attention to that per se. And so I've been thinking a lot about it since last night, since yesterday. And I just wanted to ask Taki, did you come up with that term?
Collective autonomy.
Collective autonomy.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't have a reference in my mind, but I don't doubt that something put it there.
I think it's a good way of talking about it rather than saying, how did it called community consent? And once you say that, you're like, no, that can't be it. It can't be that a whole community has all agreed to say yes, because people are different. But when you say collective, you'll find that some people may agree not so much, some people agree a lot, but generally, the whole community or the family is, okay, let's do this. They might not be absolutely convinced it should be done, but they have decided, okay, this is the way we should go for now. So yes, collective, when I want to go back home with that one, collective autonomy. But it's tiresome. When to do it is tiresome. It's much easier to just deal with the individual. Yeah. Is there anybody else you want to talk to? Yes. Go ahead now. You're ready.
Yes, actually I think I was waiting for the chair to talk.
Okay. Protocol observed.
Yeah, so I think yesterday I learned that often research will always involve vulnerable groups. I mean, in an ideal world, you want to try and get knowledge from everybody. But the few examples, the few case studies, even the examples you alluded to as experienced researchers, both you and Prof, I could tell that always will always be dealing with some vulnerable population, not just age, but even prostitution, sex workers, and all that. So I realize it is something that we have to be ready to acknowledge that most often our study population will be either disadvantaged or vulnerable in one way or another. But the good thing I've also learned that because of, we've all acknowledged that the layers of trying to protect them. And I think the first layer would be at a national level, like NACOSTI. So that if NACOSTI has to probably scrutinize this study, or rather the study, but the PIs, and then at the community level, the responsibility of us as the Iserc, even if this study gets approval at NACOSTI level, will have a responsibility. And then of course the PI has a responsibility, and then that community, that community leader also has some level of responsibility, and ultimately even the patient will have the final responsibility in signing that informed consent. So that is something that I really realize that we'll have to acknowledge that often. We will be trying to get very confidential information from a vulnerable or disadvantaged group, but there are so many layers which we need to harness.
Yeah. Yeah, we live in a community. Yeah. Your decision is going to affect other people. So maybe and especially now when you start getting proposals to do genetic research, it becomes so complicated. Because maybe I don't want to know whether we have the BRCA gene in my family. We are a family of girls. I have 3 girls. My sister has 2 girls. We are just girls, So if I go and enjoy myself in a study where they're doing genetics, and they find out that I have this gene for breast cancer, BRCA2, that means, do I go tell my family that they should come to be tested as well, because we are from the same family? And when I go there, will they be happy to hear that I went to be part of this study, and now I have put a burden on them? They didn't want to know if they had the gene, now they are thinking about it. You remember my questions, which I don't go away with? And it's such a huge mess now, because now you have gone to the DNA. You have gone to the DNA, and the DNA can say all types of things that you didn't expect it to say. Yeah. Anybody else? Yes.
I think I was just really appreciating the value of mixed qualitative and quantitative data.
Yeah. It took me a minute to understand them, but I could see anyway. Doctors are clever. I could see you understand. It took me a few years to understand mixed methods. And it took me a few years to decide, to think, why should we do them anyway? If you come from corn, you wonder why you should do corn. If you come from corn, you wonder why you should do corn. And then often you'll find when people submit proposals and they're saying a mixed method, they're usually strong in one, but not the other. So you'll often be asking, so who is the one in charge of what? Because this is definitely a qualitative. So you have to make sure they are equally strong, otherwise it will be a waste of time doing the mixed method, because the guy of quant will be struggling with doing the analysis of the data if it is for quant and the other way around. Yeah.
Can I highlight one thing about that one?
Yes.
I was very interested in that part of the conversation because as faculty supervising master's level thesis, that's not deep into the PhD level and higher. So at that master's level, they really discourage mixed methods in our experience because you're learning, right? So now you're like doubling what you're learning. You have to become knowledgeable in qualitative. You also have to become knowledgeable in quantitative to be able to defend what you might find. So I don't bring that up, but only because we're a young one and we're likely to have a lot of students who are doing research through our Iserc for quite some time. I would just say that not as a... I loved that the conversation. It made me really see the value and respect it and feel like if you weren't learning, it would be the best. But just as a learning one, it becomes a difficult one to design for those of us who are coming from the side of students learning for the first time. So it's a caution, despite the fact that it's an attractive thing.
Yeah. I think it depends on your supervisor. If your supervisor has quite some knowledge, they can really handhold you and help you. When I was doing my master's, the second one now, in bioethics, I had not done any qualitative. I came from preclinical with laboratory, and that's what I had done. I was a medical parasitologist. And now I was used to seeing amoebas and vaginalis. It's a very beautiful one, isn't it? It's a very beautiful one. Yeah, it's really pretty. So now I'm doing my master's in bioethics, and it's all about words. Never done those things before. I really struggled. I was even but I struggled, but Prof. Kusi was my supervisor, Prof. Mwazam, and they just couldn't understand why I couldn't do it. I was just so used to numbers. I was so used to numbers, gels, yes, so I do get your point. It's not a walk in the park. Yeah, so usually the studies I see from students in masters, many of them are just retrospective studies. They are medical chart review studies. So they are trying to just look at exposure and outcomes of various things, risk factors of various things, fairly straightforward things. So you just go into you abstract the data and you are trying to see how many, okay, there's a study we have just finished reviewing. It's called CRICKET, that's the acronym, and it's looking at critical events that happen when pediatrician children are intubated, yeah? So, so there's a lot of things that can happen, and sometimes the intubation can go wrong. So they're just trying to collect, 100,000 events, records, let's say. So they're going to go to 100,000 charts.
Serious?
Not charts, I mean, it's actually prospective. And it's all over the world. It's a huge study. Yeah, it's all over the world. So in Kenya, I don't know how many we're going to do, but it's over just 3 months. So what's going to happen is that they're going to go and find out who needs to be intubated. Maybe they're going for a surgery, so clearly they'll have to be intubated so that they can be put under anesthesia. So they're working very closely with anesthesists, and then they'll just follow what happens. They will take notes about how it was done, and then what happened, and so on. Sorry, phones can do that to you. Maybe you can all put yours on silent. Yeah. So, they are observing what is going to happen, and then they are going to get the data, and they are going to write it up. I lost my thought with the phone. So I don't know what I was talking about, yeah. But just to go back to what you were saying, yes, for students, I wouldn't. But for PhD, oh yeah, you better study and find out how it's done. And the theories of it. If I remember what I was talking about that study, I'll tell you. Okay, it's 9 o'clock. So I want us all to stand up before I start. Make sure you have space. And make sure your chair is behind you. Make sure your chair is behind you. What I'm doing is to make sure your chair is behind you. By the way, good morning. So, we're going to sing the song, I Will Make You Fishers of Men. Okay. And if you are born male, these days that, but Trump said you don't have to say that anymore. I love that. He wrote us all a letter and said, no more that nonsense. Okay, so if you are male, when you see I will make anything with an M, you sit down. Oh, Brahma, you can't do this.
Yeah.
So just sit down and watch. And laugh. It's going to be hilarious. So I will make. When you see here, make, if you are a man, you sit down and stand up. You sit down and stand up. So I will make you, and you stand up. And then for if you're female and you see you hear fishers, that's female, you sit down and you stand up. Okay? Is that clear? Yeah. I'm glad to hear that. So we'll do a trisex for 2 lines, and then we shall just go for it. Yes? Okay. I will make you fishers of men, fishers of men, fishers of men.
Every
I know the problem, your job is just to laugh.
This is a good exercise for the core.
Yes. So that you can wake up. We try again. Now we go for it. The whole song? Yes. Excellent. Let's go. I will make you fishers of men, fishers of fishers of men. I will make you fishers of men if you follow me. If you follow me. If you follow me. I will make you fishers of men if you follow me. Hey. Now your hearts are beating properly. So let's start with research misconduct. I don't think I'll have time to do research integrity. They are not quite the same thing, but I'll leave the slides with Paul, especially the ones for How many of you sang that song in Sunday school? All of you. That's why it's the whole song. Extension table.
You know the song? It must be a very special. That's the one I probably will give you. So, we're going to look at research integrity. And we do teach this in this course because you're going to be reviewing proposals and you're going to be monitoring studies, and you need to know what to look out for. And you can see there in red, you can see publication, authorship, falsification, fabrication, plagiarism. And interesting that people will want to do it like this, but sometimes they do, and you need to look out for it. And as I've said before, if people know you're looking out for it, they'll start being careful. Many people actually are not even sure what plagiarism means, and once you tell them, they would actually know that they are plagiarizing. Some people don't know that they are plagiarizing, some people don't even know what it means. But here we go. So I'm giving special thanks to this group of people: Walter Jaoko, Lilian Okutoko, Patricia Valdez, and Ranjini Amalavana, because I have used some of their ideas to make these slides. We've been doing this teaching for so long, and you find somebody has got nice slides and you say, can I use them? And they say yes. So we tend to exchange them, but these are the people I want to say special thanks to before we continue. So we are talking about integrity today. Who would like to attempt a definition of integrity? And don't tell me it's the opposite of corruption. Yes, Prime Minister. integrity is walking the talk.
Walking the talk, right? Yeah. Many of us are good at talking the talk, but not so good at walking the talk. And what talk would that be, Tony?
In research, we work with listed on matters like journalism. I started with integrity. We give credit to anyone that works on somewhere else. So that would be considered integrity.
It's so very interesting. One time I went to teach at a university I shall not mention, and they were so proud to show me their standard operating procedures, and they had even bound them in a book, and they were our standard operating procedures. I'm like, oh. All they've done is to remove Camry and put their own university logos, and then bound them. I just didn't know what to say. I didn't know. I really didn't know what to say, because I'm not going to say well done.
How did you realize that?
You know, I'd worked so hard. It took a very long time to do us, and it's over years, like 3, 4, 5 years, you know, and revising them. And when and standard operating procedures kind of get different depending on what you're going on, what challenges you're facing, so that you keep adding new things. You're like, oh my God, yes, we need to say this, we need to say that. And where they were as an ethics committee, I knew they had not encountered some of the things. And we are largely medical, and this university was not medical. It was just a university. It didn't have the medical side of it. So they just copied and pasted precisely. So there are some things which were totally irrelevant to the university, but they had them. So, yeah, so plagiarism. I mean, it's not that standard operating procedures for ethics committees will be so different, because you're more or less doing the same thing. So it's how to review an annual renewal, how to review an amendment, and those are the kind of things we were talking about, genetic research and so on and so forth. That's how come I knew, because we had said genetic research and they hadn't. So why would they have an SOP on genetic research? They're supposed to have SOPs of things that you're doing, not things that you think you're going to do. Yeah. So that's plagiarism. Who would like to read this for us? Diana, please read that for us. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Many people say that it's the internet, which means that it's exactly the
maybe when we have time, I'll show you some small videos of people's papers that were retracted. And some of those videos that you can watch on YouTube are so sad, because some of these people, they say they have found something that can treat cancer, and it's all lies. And you can see people coming to them and thinking, this is my last chance, let me come, let me get treated for cancer. It was all fabricated. It was all fabricated. So it doesn't matter how great you think you are as a scientist. If you don't have character, then you're a con person, you're a con man, you're a con woman, and it's not that we arrest people and throw them into jail, but it would be good if we could stay in jail for a few years, not to mislead people like that. So I don't know if you've heard of the Singapore statement, and there have been very many other statements after the Singapore statements, and they have this huge conference once a year, every year, where they go to talk about matters integrity. But this is what I'm going to talk about. And you can see that there are 4 principles for research integrity that the Singapore statement came up with: honesty, accountability, professionalism, and stewardship. Stewardship, you have people's data, you have people's samples, just do what you say you're going to do with them. If you say you're going to destroy them after 5 years, you destroy them after 5 years. Let's say you've been taking recordings. Samples are very rarely destroyed these days. We're going into the world of biobanking. But if you say that every time these samples are going to come out, there's going to be an ethics review, and there are going to be reasons why they are doing it, and we're going to know where those samples are going, for goodness sake, just do what you said you're going to do. Because we are stewards. When somebody gives you your sample, when somebody gives you your data, it doesn't belong to you. And I've had many scientists saying, my participants. How did they become your participants? My data. But my samples, They are not your samples. You came and took them from Chogoria. You went to the pathology department, said, my samples, they are